to JermaineAuNatural. I am Jermaine Ryan, and a video from this person was suggested to me, and I decided to look into it. I'm not someone that's often interested in videos, particularly where the focus or the theme or part of the themes is a celebrity. A lot of time I find those videos to be more punch down, tear down. I am not someone that dehumanizes a celebrity just because they are popular or a lot of people know them or they're big. But something in this, something said, and you know, not like Beyonce, but something said,
go ahead. Take a chance.
There are a few things in the video that I was like, these are some things that I would want to touch on. The video overall gave me a lot of really gross generalizations, a lot of really skipped and important nuances. It just was a lot glossed over. These opinions were just, they didn't feel well educated to make, I think, some of the statements that were said. And I get it, you know, the conversation is very deep, very lengthy. It goes on and on and on. But if we're going to talk about it, at least make the points that you're making and also acknowledge the nuances that are in it. So that's what I'm gonna do. A little course correction here. I'm gonna touch on some of the nuances just to bring a little bit of clarity and also give a broader scope than some of the limits that I saw in that video. One of the things that the person said is that our hair is politicized.
That's true, Granddad.
60s is where the civil rights was happening. You know, we started seeing natural hair, naturals. Beep. And remember that any videos that pop up above, I always link down below in the video, the description box, and sometimes in end cards for you to check out after this one. And so because we were going against the grain of those who were running the country, and our hair was a part of the things that were made politicized. We never politicized our hair. Others have politicized our hair. However, the very next statement.
So with that trauma comes a response of kind of sometimes wanting to prove that you're someone who benefits from texturism
and lengthism. That sentiment is thrown around a lot in this video, and I just kept wondering, what benefit? The person never says it in the video. To me, lengthism, I never heard that before, but I guess we can just throw ism on anything and it becomes a thing. But sure, let's go with it per the video. As far as I know, the Crown Act. The Crown Act is to protect women with natural hair from being discriminated against. People benefit in a lot of different ways from a lot of different things. But let's just talk about like everyday stuff, like your livelihood, you trying to get a job or keep your job. If we're fighting to not be discriminated against for our hair and its natural texture, then I don't think the length makes a difference. One of my favorite triggering words, irregardless of the texture, irregardless of the length of it. We're just trying to keep our hair on our heads as it is. Because as we have seen, we're fighting for it still. It's not even passed in all 50 states. Fortunately, I live in Michigan and we got it passed here. My governor is... And the discrimination isn't the fact that, oh, it's, you know, number letter this, number letter that. It's the very simple fact that it's not straight.
Let's just be clear about that.
Some of them don't like the whole thing. So our hair is just the easiest kind of indirect way of discriminating. Maybe it's from the standpoint of the content, social media creator thing. Because I know that a lot of the brands will go for people with the looser, natural hair. Who are the people running these brands though? Are we talking about brands that are just within the past or few years starting to add texture hair? Because if we're talking about those brands, then yeah, it would make sense that they're gonna go for something not too far into textured hair, because in reality, they never even use texture hair. The ones that I know that are Black women owned have all of the textures because we all come in a lot of different things. A lot of us have more than one texture and curl pattern on our head. So they're inclusive to everyone because they also understand that we're not a monolith. There's just one thing sometimes happening on our head. Some people may see that, you know, being able to get a man or attention from a man or from someone else as a privilege or a benefit. If that's what you see it as, then okay. And there are men that do see long hair as more feminine. They may see it as, you know, as a desirable trait. Then okay, sure. And if your goal is to try to please someone else, then okay, yeah, I can see where that can be, where that's viewed as a benefit for a man. You know, it's nice to have, but you don't need a significant other, a man, a woman, whomever, to survive in everyday life. You don't need it. So one of those nuanced points where if we're talking about benefits, well, what type of benefits? Everyday living, finding a partner, if you're a social media influencer or want to be one, trying to get a deal, okay, sure, maybe there are some in there, but even still, we got to break that down a little bit more. And okay, so the source of that though, most, if not all of, at least the women that I have known and come across in my life, and I am a person of a certain age, a lot of those women started off as children whose parents did not know how to take care of their hair. And again, stemming back to the brands of the time, not catering to our hair type. So them conforming to European standards to do whatever they can to make hair work because they didn't know how to do it. It was never really taught to them. And having to fit into society that we didn't run, we were just kind of allowed to be in, and I really do mean allowed. They are 5, 6, 7, 8 years old getting relaxers. And by the time they're 10, 11, 12, the hair has been severely damaged. It's broken off. They have no chance of really knowing what the hair really is or what it's really like. Some of our favorite YouTubers have talked about this. Dreo Charmaine, LaToya Ebony. Let's give it some range. You know, I'll probably be deemed as a texturist. But, you know, y'all know I love my little big sister, Bianca Renee. It's a very common thing. Boom, childhood, relaxer. Doesn't know what their real hair is like. Hair is broken off by the time they are 10, 11 to 12. And it takes them actually going out on their own, becoming basically adults, 18 to 19 to 20, to then self-discovering their hair in its natural state. So that's one of those things where you can't just skip over that. That's very important as to why people want to grow out their hair. Because number one, they are just discovering what type of hair and what their pattern really is. And then two, having it broken off their entire childhood, barely even or not even ever scraping their shoulders and wanting to see what their hair can do. I think that's so important if we're gonna talk about why people grow out their hair and why it's important. That was a part of the reason why I decided to grow out my hair. I spent my whole life getting short taper cuts, ball fades, the whole nine. And I'm like, well, I wanna grow my hair out to see what it looks like. It had nothing to do with anybody else other than my own self-discovery, which I think is a normal thing when you had your hair one way for a long period of time, and sometimes you want to do something different. Also in this video, the person then got on celebrities and how the celebrities do their length checks and, you know, how they're really coded in something else. So the person mentioned Cecred. We're gonna talk about someone that says who they're voting for because this person, because with their own ignorance and misinformation, thinks that the former president gave them a check.
He sent you a check.
When in fact, we know that he didn't. He's the one that held the checks up so that he can get his name stamped on it. Like,
don't be bamboozled.
But sure, you know, if that's the example you want to go with, a bad example, but great for your point. Another example, they used Nicki Minaj in that video of Nicki Minaj getting a relaxer. Well, sure, you can find the ones that clearly have things going on with their self-image to justify what you're saying. That doesn't make the majority. That doesn't make it an overall usable, generalized example. It just doesn't. The person also mentioned Chloe Bailey and was like, Chloe is always covering up her hair. And I'm like, always?
Okay, girl.
Wake up. Where have you been? They did made a point like, I don't know of any black women that just wake up and be like, I want to cover my hair. Do you not know any? That's why wig caps exist. That's why the wig headbands exist. That's why wigs in general. One thing black women are going to do, and black men, we are going to switch up a look. So yeah, a black woman may wake up and say that, yeah, you know what? Blue wig. I'm about to throw on a big curly textured wig because they can.
Period.
So because Chloe has thrown on a wig or two, now she always... It's that thing of if you don't know what you're talking about, maybe you just shouldn't talk about it, because I've seen Chloe live. She did her entire tours with her locks. Most times when she posts on social media, because I follow Chloe because I like Chloe, she's in her locks. Now, the times that her as a celebrity did a photo shoot to switch up her look, is it not allowed? Like, so we police what black women can do now? Because that's what it's coming off as. Like, you can't switch up your look, because if you're switching up your look, you just want to benefit from texturism and, I guess, lengthism.
Girl, what?
It's nothing worse than being loud and wrong. But if she decides that she wants to wake up one day, have a photo shoot with the 1960s wig, or do a bob, or whatever she wants to do, the woman, as mentioned in the video, has autonomy. She has every right to do it. And you know, I wasn't saying that. Well, you didn't say the opposite. Now, what is a conversation about celebrities if we don't have the celebrity of celebrities in it, which is Beyonce? Because we can't do anything without talking about Beyonce in type of way.
Now, why am I in it?
So, I like Beyonce's hair. I've always liked Beyonce hair, except for the bang thing. The bang thing was, but it was a moment she went through it. Some of us have went through those moments. Because I like Beyonce's hair, that means that I want her hair and texture.
Who said that? Who had been saying that? Who said that?
People that I know in my community have had hair not like that, kinkier hair, tighter textured hair down their back. And right now it's all gone because they didn't want to deal with it. With length comes more time. I like my hour and a half to 2 hours or so to do my complete wash day. Once we start getting to like 3 hours, 3.5, because I have to go through so much long hair.
Oh, I don't like that.
If one jar is used on one section of my hair, I need to cut this hair. That's too much. I get that does exist. People who don't have that self-love for their own hair will envy others. We see it online all the time.
But I digress.
No one has known what Beyonce's real hair has really been for a long time, because she mixes it in based on her job. She mixes and leave outs and stuff like that with her own. We've never really known what her hair actually looks like, unprocessed, unblown out. Destiny's Child, Killing Time, no era of Beyonce. What her natural hair looked like, if you know, since then. So Beyonce releases her hairline, beep, and I like the hairline. You know, we see that she has long hair. Okay, cool. Entertainment business is a whole different thing, because there are a lot of demands that happen with that. I think that is a whole nother nuanced conversation that would have to happen. But when it comes to being an entertainer, a lot goes into whatever you're doing. If you're doing a photo shoot, if you're doing videos, if you're touring, if you're doing an album, if you're doing daytime television, there's a lot that goes into that world. And a part of that industry is being on the go. Natural hair is not made sometimes for that. It's just not made for that. Some can do it, but not everyone can. And without damaging your hair regularly, and if that's not what your goal is, you're about to braid that thing up and put a wig on over it to protect your hair. Because the lifestyle is fast, the lifestyle is on the go, in addition to having your personal life. Only person that I've seen outside of Chloe, but someone with loose natural hair that was able to tour with it, and I don't know all the maintenance that goes into it, but saw Ari Lennox live. Great concert. Ari Lennox is going to give us vocals, she's going to give us a ballad, she might do a cute two-step, a little hit, a little that, but Ari isn't sweating out her hair from dancing. So Ari's able to tour with a high puff because there's nothing to maintain. Slick it, refresh them curls, and you keep it moving. When it comes to entertainment, a whole lot of nuances. It's a terrible and gross thing to do to just generalize it all when it's so, I could never. I would be braided up ASAP Rocky. Would be braided up all the time. Cause goodness, I couldn't, They made a comment that a celebrity will post their natural hair, and then a comment will come about that if you put time and energy and effort, you can reach these type of hair goals for yourself. Yeah, that doesn't equate to her texture. Maybe it does mean the length. If length is your goal, you can. That actually is a true thing. You do have to put time and effort into taking care of your hair if you are wanting it to grow. That's not something to be deemed as bad. It's literally the truth. That goes with everything. If you're someone that works out, you have to put time and effort into working out. If you're someone that's trying to lose weight, time and effort has to go into that. Anything that you're trying to reach as a goal, time and effort and energy has to go into it. I don't understand why when it comes to hair or liking length, that now it's a bad thing because you now want long hair so that you can benefit, again, as the theme, from long hair, and opposed to I've never had long hair and I just want to see how long I can grow it. Like, there's no winning. Because these type of people are gonna make something to make you feel bad because they wouldn't do it. In this same video, the person then talked about, why don't we ever talk about when we want to grow our hair out, that we want to grow our hair out like this? Can you imagine? So this thing on earth called gravity, right? And then what I found to be even funnier is that when they were like, people talk about their hair and they talk about the length and they do their hair. And I'm looking at the person grab their own hair, grab their hair, not from up here, but from right here where it's laying, and use their hair as the example. Gravity. Weight to hair exists. Can you imagine someone saying, yeah, I have sister locks and I want the sister locks to be like this long. But sister locks don't.
Okay, so make it make sense.
If someone said, yeah, I want my afro to be this big, that makes more sense. Even still, if you have a lot of hair and it's big, it is gonna weigh down a little bit because, again, hair has weight and also gravity. Again, just one of those points that just didn't make sense, especially when they grab their hair. And I'm like, but your hair is literally laying the exact same way that you're saying others grab their hair that's coded in Eurocentric standards and beauty. So then would that then mean that you are buying into that? Because that was a really great example. That tickled me, and when I'm laughing now, I laugh just as easily then also. Tickled me. I'm like, but it's, the person made, it is common for queer women to have weave. Common? Maybe some of the younger girls or young women do that. Had the person said it's common for them to have locks, sure, that definitely would have been a stereotype that I would have been like, I've definitely seen that through a lot of generations of women. Definitely have seen that. But it is something that you do see a lot more commonly with those of the queer LGBTQ community. But to be like, it's common to have weave. I'd like to see statistics. Underhanded comments about, I've had people say, oh, I like the back of your hair, and the back of my hair is looser, right? I've had people say, oh yeah, I like the back of your hair, and I'm like, that's not a compliment. But again, I'm considering the source. The person and the people that have said this to me has also referred to their hair as nappy, hard, difficult, not liking it. So, for that What else would I expect? Overwhelmingly, on a normal basis, not it. There was a video shared of some guy, which I do agree with the content creator on. He should be making videos. But again, people can do what they want. You just have to be able to identify ignorance when it is ignorance and call it as just that. So to wrap it all up, I think that self-discovering and seeing what your hair is and what it can do in a lot of instances with a lot of women and men is more common than those that just are doing it so that they can benefit or try to be like others or have what others have. Again, I know it does exist. I don't think that's the common sentiment for many. We are capable. People are capable of liking other people's hair, celebrity, non-celebrity, influencer, whomever's hair, and still liking their own at the same time without wanting whatever these alleged benefits and privileges are that people keep talking about. It's possible. I think it's more common than not in a lot of people, especially people who have been natural for years and years and years. And I get it. Some still struggle with accepting their hair. They just do. And that's also, again, source. There's always a deeper issue that's happening with that. Always a deeper issue that some of us, that we would just never know. But again, I found it more common that people just like their hair. And they have the emotional range and intelligence and enough self-love to also be able to like others. Wow. Yeah, the video was interesting. I will... It was a moment that I took. That will be the only time that I ever take that moment again, because, you know, those type of videos are made to do exactly what they do. I like to be up. I like to be up, and if I can bring someone else with me, then come on. Give me the hand. Let's go. Let's go up this way. We don't want to go down there. It's not a good place to be. Bad energy down there. So anyway, yeah, share thoughts, share opinions, tell me what you think down below in the comments. All right. Make sure that you like this video, press the red subscribe button. Sometimes I get out of doing hair, which is nice. And, you know, we can have some dialogue. You can give some more perspective on giving a different point of view. And like I said, more depth into those type of conversations. Typically not my space, because again, that's just not where I like to play. Give me something more positive and light. Punch the notification bell so that you can stay abreast of when I post my videos. And again, thank you for tuning in to JermaineAuNatural. I'll see you in the next one.